Hey there, YouTube world. I had started this video yesterday and went through the whole thing, yapped for probably 7 minutes or so, something along those lines, which is a lot for me. And figured out that I had not put in a new battery into my microphone. So yeah, so I'm doing this all over again. So this is my intro to YouTube, my first time recording a video for YouTube, and I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Rob Lewis. I have a photography business. It's called RM Lewis Photography, aptly named. I will probably, if I can find a way to put the link in the description there, I will try to do that, but since I don't have a whole lot of experience with YouTube videos, that may be a bit problematic, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. After Effects, I'm assuming. So just to give you a little background about myself, I do portrait photography, do corporate headshots, do senior portraits, family photography. I've even shot pets, and they survived. I'm primarily a Nikon shooter. I grew up with the Canon world, but switched over to Nikon about 4 years ago. So I think in a way that may be a little bit unique, in that it seems like most people on YouTube are so Canon-centric or Sony. So I thought maybe let's get a little bit different perspective and see what Nikon can do. So I'm shooting this on a Nikon Z6, by the way. I think it does a fantastic job with video. Obviously I'm no expert, but we'll see what if anybody actually watches this video, what they seem to think. But what I'd like to start with is kind of a review of the Tamron 24-70 G2. Right out of the box, it doesn't really work with the Nikon Z6, and so I wanted to do a little kind of tutorial. It's super easy, just to start out, since again nobody's going to be watching this video, on how to use the Tap-In Console to do a firmware update on your Tamron 24-70. So of course this is the old Tamron here, 24-70, with the super cool rubber lens cap. I don't know if anybody's actually used that thing, but it's pretty cool. And this is the Tap-In Console. So we'll have to, of course, switch over to the computer in order to do the firmware update, but I'll be cutting that here in just a second and showing you how to do that. And I guess that's it for now. I think one thing I do want to mention that, until I get into the Tap-In Console piece, one thing I do want to mention is that I will be doing a number of videos, hopefully weekly, on my process for shooting. Next week I've got a shoot with a couple of models in Austin, and we're going to record that. Hopefully super interesting, we'll see. And then another model shoot the following weekend in San Antonio. So hopefully I will be able to get some good video from that as well. I travel a lot, typically with my daughter, so we'll probably get some travel videos in there. I've traveled to about 48 countries throughout the world, so we'll be trying some DJI stuff with that. And like I said, a lot of just travel videos, and probably some tutorials. I don't know if anybody wants to see me do any of my image editing on Lightroom or Photoshop, but we'll try that. I've certainly got my path or my workflow pretty well done now, to where at least it doesn't take me an hour per image. But it just depends on, of course, who you're shooting. But that's it for now. We're going to switch over to the computer here in just a sec and kind of show you how you can connect your Tap-In Console with the Tamron, and we'll go from there. All right, talk to you soon. Okay, so our first step is to go to the Tamron website. That would be tamron.com/en for English /tap-in to download the Tap-In utility on our computer. So you'll notice it brings up the Tamron screen here, and we're going to want to scroll down to the download section, and I have Windows 10, so I'm going to download the 64-bit version, because that's what my operating system is. But if you have an earlier version, you may want to stick with the 32-bit version here. So I'm going to click on agree/download, and you'll notice notice that it installs the install utility down here in the left hand corner. So I just clicked on the arrow and open. And yes, I would like to Tamron to update my computer. I'll go with English. Yes, I accept the agreement. Create a desktop shortcut. Thank you very much. And install. Okay. Welcome to Device Driver Installation Wizard. Click Next. Tamron. Clicking Finish here. So completing the Tamron Tap-In Utility Setup Wizard. Finish. So we're good. So our next step is to this Tamron Tap-In cap here. That's what this comes in, or that's the actual device that you use to update your firmware. So we're going to press the button here and hopefully establish connection. Kind of twist it around, you'll hear a little clicking noise. Should be flush with the lens itself. We're going to go ahead and install the cable. So it's just a basic USB cable here. So I'm installing it in the tap-in utility here, or the cap. And then I'm also plugging it into my computer down below. So it's just a USB connection directly into your computer. There we go. And then I'm going to go to my computer and click on the Tamron Tap-In utility on the computer. And you'll notice when you open that up, the light comes on the actual device itself here, a blue light. So that indicates that you've got a connection to the lens from your computer. And you'll notice that it pops up a screen here that shows the Tamron SP24-70 f2.8 G2, which is what I have. And you'll also notice the version 2 is selected here on under firmware. Now I've already installed the firmware, so for most people this should say version 1. And if it does, then you're going to want to click on perform a firmware update, and that simply will push the firmware changes from your computer down to your lens. And it should be usable on the Nikon Z6 as it is on mine after you perform the firmware update. And that's it. And hopefully I'll come up with some kind of amazing outro, but for now, I hope everyone has a great day.